So another common question we get asked, especially by users more familiar with Xero, is how many different ID files can our sync incorporate? Or in other words, can you sync multiple Xero ID files? Okay, so let's go back for a second. For some background, your Xero and Zoho CRM both have unique IDs. The extension uses these IDs to identify and then sync your respective accounts for each app. These IDs are also referred to as API keys, so it's important to make the distinction and not confuse them with contact and module URL IDs or the accounts module itself, both of which are a part of the sync. Instead, these IDs or API keys allow our sync to map and identify your accounts in respective apps and are essentially facilitating the sync. So they're not part of the sync, they're other things that allow the sync to happen. They are basically ensuring that your data is transferred correctly to the right place. So when the sync occurs using set ID files, the sync looks for and sends the data from the CRM's defined ID to the correspondent Xero ID and vice versa. The main confusion here arises when clients work closely with Xero. As there is an accounting platform, it allows you to have multiple ID files, or to access them from any specific one. For reference, it's kind of like how Gmail lets you switch between accounts using the common account icon. You can see this in the screenshot where I can choose to access one of 3 ID files shown: 𝗀𝘀𝗍 Pty Limited, 𝗀𝘀𝗍 Investment, or the demo company. In comparison, Zoho CRM doesn't have this feature. If you want to access another account, you have to log out of your first one and go into the other one. So Azure Sync uses these IDs to connect these two apps. A natural question is, how many of these different IDs can we incorporate? Answer is only one. Because each of those IDs have a separate ID code or an API key, and because of the fact that our sync maps the data specifically onto specific accounts, it only allows a one-to-one connection. So it can only link one Zoho CRM to one Xero account. So to answer the initial question, no. Our plugin is only compatible with the one-to-one connection. So we can only sync one Xero ID file to one Zoho CRM API key. Now let's move to another pretty conflict-inducing idea that our sync is specifically made to cater towards. Another caveat: the difference between items and products.